All right, man. What is up? It is the Best Spot Kids Move Let's Talk Games podcast, joined by my co-host, the notorious DRE. It's a little bit too hot for the hat. DRE, hello. What's up?
What's going on?
How Big Dre in the house. What's
How you
up?
Feeling?
Yo, before we start the show, you know I knew I gotta do this to you, bro. I know I gotta do this to you, bro. I had to put some light on my screen very quick. You know I gotta do this to you, bro.
What's that?
You flaunting something I would typically wear, bro. You flaunting that Xbox shirt. Is that Gears, Minecraft, Halo, Forza, Ori, and Sea of Thieves? Oh, you got the updated shirt. Where you get this shirt? Where you get this shirt from?
At Target.
Okay. Yeah. So they selling these things. They are selling these things, bro. Oh wow, that's impressive. I like it, bro. I got a
PlayStation shirt too. I got
I got a PlayStation hat. Where is it? It's hiding behind the curtain there. I got a PlayStation hat. Xbox
good
hat.
RJ.
Yeah, I've been. I told you I sold my copy of Godfall for my Xbox hat that I've been wearing the last couple episodes, right?
Hey, that's a good trade off though. That's a good trade.
Yeah, man. Yo, if you're in here, hit that like button. Make sure you guys warn us of our value. Make sure I ain't messing nothing up.
Mortal Kombat was definitely a disappointment.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't watch it. I know it was out already.
I was a little disappointed, man. I ain't gonna front on you. I was a little disappointed, but it was because I'm guessing it's going to be a franchise.
Oh, okay.
It's a good startup, but I was a bit disappointed.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't call it trash though. I wouldn't say it's trash, but it was very disappointing.
All right, so shout out to Dre. I'm gonna highlight something for a moment if I can. I'm gonna see if I can take a look at the freaking leaderboards, right? There you go. All right. Talk about gaming, bro. And let me. I gotta find a way to get this in. If I can find a way to get this in, this would be awesome. Just give me 1 second. Here we go. We're gonna drop this out, and we're gonna add this. I want to highlight something for you. Give you your roses while you're here. We're about to give you your roses, Dre. Video capture device. There we go. All right, you guys see this? Y'all see this? Look at it. We got Notorious Dre in the top 10 on the leaderboards, on the Xbox leaderboard for gamer score. 3,030 gamer score. What have you been playing, sir?
Listen. This first of all, this is what I do, man. I probably got a higher gaming score than most of these Xbox fanatics, but that's neither here nor there. I've been playing. I just got done finishing Hellblade. Hellblade.
Mm-hmm.
And that game was pretty cool. I liked it a lot. It was a little trippy, a little bit, a little out there. A little bit, but it was alright. It was decent. And then so right now I'm trying to find something to play that's like a good 10 to 12 hours.
Yep.
Because I don't want to start anything
that's gonna bleed into Returnal, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Right. So
you ain't rotate through that Game Pass list, bro.
Well, so okay, a lot of those games in Game Pass I don't want to play. I mean, I think I do want to play A Plague's Tale. So that might be
do that one.
Yeah.
Do that one. You'll get that. All right. I will if you can sit through Hellblade. All right, Hellblade. All right, I got nothing against Hellblade outside of trippy puzzles. Like I said, I didn't like how the combat wasn't there for most of the game. It was like scripted combat. You can only wield your sword when they ride in a fight. So
right.
I like Hellblade, but you want to talk about a game that's delicious? In the words of Notorious D.R.E., delicious. You want to see a game that's delicious that you weren't expecting to be delicious? A Plague's Tale, dude. And this is when you hear people like, man, I wish Xbox buys a Sobo. I wish Xbox buys a Sobo, because these guys are freaking talented. A Plague's Tale is a dope game, bro. It is very. I discovered it late. It was the start of 20. I think I beat it it was the first game I beat in 2020. And I'm like, damn, this thing is crispy, and the story was good, and it's not combat heavy. But it's enough. It's enough trickery where you think you're involved in all this combat. You know what I mean? And the thing is, you're put in a situation where you should not advance, because everybody in the game, all the AI and the NPCs in that game, are full of armor, swords, arrows. You have nothing but your little brother and at most a slingshot. Okay. So dope game. I recommend it. Yeah. I totally recommend it. So before we do that, I don't want to compare. We're gonna just go to your achievements.
Hold up.
For the games that, so you did Hellblade. It looks like we did the same amount of things in Hellblade, which is we're missing each that one achievement that's worth 100 points. And it's about looking at something or as a collectible, some collectible.
Yeah, look, getting all those stones. Yeah. that tell a story when you activate it.
Yeah. You finished the medium?
I did.
Did we talk about you finishing it, or was that
I don't think so.
No, we didn't, because
so the medium was actually a pleasant surprise. To be honest.
Yeah.
Graphically, it's nothing to write home about, and even gameplay wise, it's a walking sim, so it's nothing to really write home about that either. But the twist at the end was really good, and even the twist, like towards the end, because I remember you said, have you played as the guy yet? And I was like, nah, I haven't played as the guy yet. But finding out who he was was pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then. I don't know if you want to go into spoilers or anything like
that.
Go
ahead. Go ahead. At that point, it's like it is what it is.
Okay, so like a little ways in, I kind of figured out that the little girl was the sister, or was the sister's other half. The medium, whatever you want to call it. So I kind of figured that out, right? But I want to say they kept saying that she was dead or something like that, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just making that up. Maybe I just thought that she was dead.
I thought she was dead the entire time up.
So when you go get to the end, she's alive. It's come to find out that big monster that's been chasing you, it's like her inner demon or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was pretty good. I want to know who. So when you play as Thomas, right? There's a section where you are another person during a cutscene. I forget what his name is though. It's like remember when Thomas is tied up in a chair?
Yeah.
And the dude is punching him?
Yeah.
I forget who that guy was, but I kind of want to know more of his story and his whole involvement in the whole thing. I kind of don't remember that his part.
Well, he doesn't have like a major role. He was there in that moment for that tournament. Because remember, with Thomas, I think somehow made him go through his realm so he could play as Thomas technically. Because and then that fucked him up after that scenario. But I don't think his role. I mean, his actions played the role, obviously, because it impacted Thomas and impacted Marianne.
Right.
The whole thing was trippy of who everybody was to each other.
Yeah, how that was connected to each other.
You know what I thought the person that Thomas was like chasing because remember he was looking for his daughter, right? I thought it was the guy that Marianne had to lay to rest at the beginning.
Jack.
I thought it was, for some reason, I don't know why I thought it was gonna be Jack that he's looking for. Like, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be all twisted. But no, man, the game did like a lot, and Blooper Team got potential, man. You got a score, a score in that game. I don't know if you tweeted it out.
I give it a solid 6, mainly like for the points that I mentioned before. But the story is really what the game is all about. And that the ending cliffhanger, I don't know how I feel about that, because if there's not going to be a sequel, I don't know how I feel about that cliffhanger.
Well, no, I mean,
you really don't know what happens to, like, in my mind, I think she killed herself, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they just leave it
because it's like they want. I don't know if it's intended to be. It's intended to be just one of those endings. Like, for example, you ever seen the movie? Yeah. You ever seen the movie Lights Out? I think it is Lights Out, where in a dark, this woman had this fucking, I think one of her, I guess a friend of hers, like the ghost of her friend, who would just like kill her friends like when the lights are out, you know what I mean, or anybody that was close to her, the lights are out, and the only way she could stop these these hauntings and stuff from happening, because the demon was connected to her, she had to off herself at the end of the movie.
Oh wow,
that's what it was, and that's how I'm like, I'm like, oh, that's why because that movie, that was honestly the last horror movie me and my wife saw together. She doesn't like horror movies, and I convinced her that it's not going to be that scary, bro. But yeah, it was like, all right, it's that true. I don't think they need to follow up the medium with any sort of sequel or anything like that. They could, but I feel like they can just dive deep into Thomas's story.
Yeah, but then like it's like, okay, what happened to Lily, right? And then what happened to the demon, because he's trying to find a new host. So remember, he was he was chasing her this entire time, and he reacted when it was time to offer. It was like as if he didn't want her to do it. Right. I mean, I get that. So like, what happened? That's what I'm saying. So
you gotta. It's up to your imagination. You gotta assume. You pretty much have. You have to assume she offed herself, and that was it. And then everybody else. It's like they put all this stuff to add to the intrigue, but I don't think there's going to be a follow up to the medium at all.
But yeah, that's what I think. I think she offed herself. Yeah. But then I'm thinking like, okay, then what happens to Lily? Because is Lily dying? Is she just? You're making me want to play the damn game again. Because there is a chapter select, and like I said, I got 2 more achievements I think to get to complete, but I just didn't feel like going back to it. But because if I launch the game now, it brings me back to the end of the game. Like, you walk through the woods, and then that encounter happens. Right. You're making me want to. And then again, I'm like, okay, because obviously the host, the demon can live without Lily, right? And yes. Basically, he's just trying to find a new body.
Yeah.
So that just got me thinking, like, okay, so did she kill Lily and then kill herself? But there was only one gunshot that you heard.
Oh yeah, because that was the choice. That's what it was. Yeah. It was either her or Lily. That's who she had. She had to either kill Lily or she had to kill her.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. All right. Now it's coming back.
You don't get to choose that.
You don't get to choose, but you got to assume at that point it's like, who did she kill?
Yeah. Because like I was looking at looking on YouTube about and people explaining the ending, and then one guy was talking about all kinds of scenarios, and I'm just like, man, which one do you go with? Because like if you kill Lily, the host will die, right? Mm-hmm. Because, the demon will die because, unless he finds another body. But I don't know. That's why I'm just like, man, I wish it didn't kind of end like that.
How would you end a game like that though? So it's a horror. It's like those games where you're meant to. There's only one way to. There's not really a way, because it's not like there's a physical like freaking serial killer that you have to stop. It's stuff like. I think it was respectful for what it was trying to do. I think it was proper. I say it was proper.
And then is Thomas? I know his medium side is still alive, but is his physical side?
Isn't he stuck there? Or no? Yeah. Think about it. Hold on. Because when you finally meet up with him, do you meet up with him when you guys are sitting down? You meet up with him in the real world, right?
Right. Correct. Right. Mm-hmm.
He had to get pulled through though, because he was stuck there.
Right.
And he needed her to get there in a certain amount of time because he was stuck there. He was trapped there.
Right. Okay.
And then she had to break all the mirrors and shit like that to get to. Okay. That's good, because when we seen him in the last sighting we saw of him was his medium self.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would like a sequel, but if
I don't know if there's gonna be a sequel.
I enjoyed what I played.
So you said there's not another game that you want to play. I'm like, because the thing is, the difference between you and I, right? For you not having, let me turn these in. And speaking of turning points in, shout out to Verge Brizzle. He said, "Smooth, did you tell Dre about the Xbox rewards? Do you know about the Xbox rewards?"
I do know about the Xbox rewards, but I don't care.
That's free money.
Yeah, because I'm guessing he's bringing that up for the topic that happened, for the fiasco that happened on Twitter.
Okay, what happened?
Yeah. So basically, if this is the same person, he's basically bringing up rewards because by saying people don't finish games, they just boot up the games just to get the rewards. I don't care about that. I don't care about the rewards aspect. I care about people actually finishing the game, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I didn't know you get reward points for just booting up the game. I know I get points for
I've got
daily. I get daily, like, just turn in credits for that, but it's only like worth like 5 points. I know you get points, like, for example, when I be checking like shit like this, right? Like if I wanted to do this, I did a game, like I remember there was 50. I got like 50 or 100 points for playing an online game in Madden, but it had to be the Xbox One version. Couldn't be the Series X version because not a lot of users with it. I mean, it's a separate game, and majority of the players are on the Xbox One version. So I re-downloaded that bad boy, got a game, and I had one hell of a game. But it didn't matter if I won or lose. But it was like this 50 point, and that points got me over the hump where I can get like $30. So I used that $30. I bought. So
how do you actually redeem the points? I'm just stacking them up.
Absolutely. I'll show you right now. You redeem the points at it's on my Series X, the app, to redeem them, but maybe it might be here. Let me see what's going on here. I don't got many games on. There we go. So you redeem the points on the rewards app, and you see it says earn, redeem, auto redeem, and then this is what you can redeem them for: gift cards, sweepstakes. I'm using the auto redeem now, so it just auto redeems each month as I earn points and whatnot. Or you can re-up, your Game Pass and shit like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna keep stacking. Yeah, re-up on Game Pass.
No, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
And that is true. That is really cool. And I don't know if PlayStation has something like that. I want to say they do.
I thought they had something similar. Yeah.
But that is really cool though. I like that. I like that feature a lot.
So let's talk about because these things were beating games. So people highlighted. I want to say who was it? There's somebody came and posted a tweet about.
So yeah, it was about Record.
No, Gears. No, the first one. One.
Well, I thought the Gears, because I thought it went so.
It was the Gears was the first tweet to spark it. About the completion rate, right? The completion, because people like this. So
I thought the way I seen it was people were making comparisons to Record and Returnal.
Yep, that's true.
And then there was another tweet that was saying that Returnal didn't look next gen. Mm-hmm. And then in that thread there were screenshots of Gears High Busters.
Oh yeah. So, okay. So it might have started there. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so then within that, continuing in that thread, somebody had brought up that only 3% of people completed High Busters. And then it got back to Record. And so I posted a screenshot of the Record completion rate, and it was below 3%. Mm-hmm. And so now it's just like I think that's where like all hell broke loose. Because now you got people making it okay not to complete games. And the reason is because of Game Pass. Game Pass is the reason why people are saying it's okay not to complete games because you don't feel financially tied to the game. So people are saying that they don't think it's necessary to complete the game. And I'm just like, what in the hell?
I totally disagree with that notion. Not what you're saying, but what anybody pushing that. But first, before I continue on that, I want to give another shout out to Verge Brizzle. He wanted to clarify something. He said no, that wasn't me in terms of the whole thing. But he said he was only asking because he know you're new to Xbox. So, shout out to Verge Brizzle. So yeah, I don't agree with the notion that you are less entitled to play. Beat games if you're using Game Pass. I feel like you should be more inclined and to beat as many as possible because you don't know how long the games are going to be in the service. And that's what it does to me. It's like if a game comes in the service, I treat it as, all right, if I like the game, all right, I'm hoping the game is as good as a game that I bought. And as recent games like Outriders and and the Medium Call of Duty, these were games I've beaten completely into the service where it's like, oh damn, I got my money worth. I don't treat Game Pass as a trial or a demo subscription. I treat it like if there's games in here, I treat it as, all right, this could be my alternative to buy. This is going to be my alternative to how I access my games. And if a game isn't on a service that I want, I'll buy it. For example, today Judgment came out. I bought Judgment. I have money I bought it wasn't going to be in Game Pass, and all the games, this is how I look at it. Before Game Pass, I would buy a certain amount of games each month, and this shit is expensive. And whether my goal would be, because we on YouTube, we do videos and podcasts and stuff. My goal is, all right, let me try to get a review code for this many games, right? And then whatever I can't get a review for, let me know this is the money I'm going to put towards this, that, and the third, right? But ever since Game Pass, right, it eliminated it reduced the amount of games I could buy. So now the games that I would question, like, all right, do I want to buy this? I'm more comfortable buying those games now. Because like a game like Judgment, I probably wouldn't have purchased. I would like, I'm gonna hold off, I'm gonna wait. But I haven't bought a full price game since I don't know. Like, I don't know when the last time I bought a full price. All right, the last full price game I bought was fucking Spider-Man Miles Morales. Wow. That was the last one I bought. That was the last one I bought. I'm just trying to think. Everything else either came via Game Pass or I got a review code, or I purchased on a discount, like a heavily discount. Like Werewolf, I bought on the dude donated me $25 and I had $25 credit. So to me that was a discount. Like Call of Duty, I got a review code for. Madden went to Game Pass. Like there was a lot of this shit. Like I didn't buy it. I'm trying to think. The last Cyberpunk was a review code.
And so yeah, that's the thing. Like dropping games. If a game is garbage, I'm all for, because I drop games like a bad habit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if I don't like it,
absolutely. But on top of that though, the problem I had, and the reason why my backlog was so big, I hate dropping games that I purchase for $60. That is the worst, because it's the worst feeling. Like I'm happy Addict bought Yakuza Like a Dragon and I didn't. Because it's like, all right, I try to like, all right, it's cool, but like I don't know when I'm gonna pick it up, and I haven't picked it up again. But I didn't buy it, so it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I just don't want this narrative to, and I know it's not gonna go. It's not really widespread, but I was just dumbfounded. Just the thought of people are not completing games because it's in Game Pass and they don't feel financially tied to complete the game. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's so yeah. I just don't want that narrative to spread and that be the narrative on why people are playing games, man.
Absolutely.
Just have the integrity, man.
I'm gonna read this super chat from Outlaw 2120. He said, "That's stupid. I got that game before it came out on Game Pass long ago. I paid for it. I made it as far as I could, and I just moved on to something else because I got too many games." What games is he talking about?
Not sure. But why did you drop that game though? Did you not like it, or
no? That's probably. I mean,
here's the thing with backlogs, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know. I remember like a month ago or something. I gave everybody the 3 simple steps of how not to have a backlog.
I've been trying to follow the step program.
You know what I'm saying? So just play one game at a time, and it's really not that. I mean, I can understand it can get repetitive, and you kind of want a break, and you kind of want to choose something else. I get that, but if you just stick with it, you know, one game at a time, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah. The one thing I want to talk about is because in the back and forth the game, because people are trying to. He was talking about record. All right, we're going to talk about that. All right, so first, let me cover Gears. Gears Hive Busters getting slack because a lot of these guys on Twitter, especially the PlayStation guys, are calling out, you know, Gears Hive Busters and Xbox fans for it having only a 3% completion rate. And so they're pretty much using that as Xbox don't play games, they don't buy their games, it's on Game Pass, it's cheap.
That is kind of low.
It is low, but there is a caveat for that. And this is the only one. This is the only one I'm going to really damage control. The caveat with Gears Hive Busters, right, is that if you start the game, right, let's say if you start single player, right, and then let's say I joined you. That's why I joined you from the go and then kept it. I wanted to beat that game with you so you can get all the achievements. If let's say if you started a game by yourself, right, and I was like, yo, Dre, I'm gonna join you. I'm gonna help you finish the game, right, and I jump in, you know, chapter 3, midway through your gameplay, right. Your achievement, you don't get credit for completing all chapters if we finish the game in co-op. Even though you started in single player, whatever we finished in co-op together, you don't get credit for. So I was doing the solo run when it came out. Addict joined me, I think when I started chapter 4, and then we finished it together, but I didn't get the achievement for beating the game. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, why didn't I get these achievements? And then it dawned on me the last chapter achievement, because it's like the achievement is completing all chapters. So I got achievement for beating beating the boss, but I didn't get achievement for completing all chapters. And I'm like, all right, well, he joined me when I started chapter 4. So what I did was I went back and started chapter 4 again on solo, finished the game on solo, and then I got all my achievements. Because you'll see achievements for the end of the game, right, at an earlier date than me actually getting achievements for beating all the chapters. Yeah. So that's a reason why where it didn't get a high as a completion rate, because that's if they're going based off complete all chapters, then I guarantee you that's half the time, because people would start the game solo or start the game co-op and then finish solo, and they're not going to unlock that achievement, because however you start the game for the chapter achievements, however you start the game, that's how you got to finish it to get the credit for the achievements.
Isn't the completion achievement the last achievement though?
It's a tally achievement because it's counting chapters. You get complete all chapters for beating all the chapters in a game. So if you start getting you're gonna get an achievement for each chapter, right?
So you have to get each chapter achievement to get the completed game achievement.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So when I went into co-op to keep from chapter 4 to the end of the game, I didn't get any of those achievements. So I was only getting like objective based achievements for doing something but not completing the chapters. And I understand why that happened. So when I went back and did my second playthrough, they all unlocked as they were supposed to.
I get that. I do get that. But on the flip side, it is only 3 hours. It is one sitting. Like, come on. I don't know. I mean, Gears Hive Busters was a dope experience. I don't mind. Like, it's a one game. Like, I think I've ran through that game maybe a couple times. You know, 2 on my playthrough, 1 on your playthrough. I think I started it with somebody else. So yeah, it's an easy playthrough. It should not be a rare achievement to beat the game. It shouldn't be. It's not hard. In your defense, that is, they need to fix that.
Yeah.
You know, that is stupid on why you're not getting achievements.
Now, Record. Now, I like to speak on Record because I know there's not a whole lot of people that beating the game.
It's not.
And now that when you show me that under 3%, I was like, okay, that's believable, because that game is not easy. It's not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. The game is fucking tough to the point they had to come out with a definitive edition to make it easier.
How tough is it though? Is it Souls? Is it a Souls type game tough, or is it just difficult in certain?
See, I can't say it's Souls type because Souls has this thing where you're expecting, all right, each boss is going to cause you trouble. Recore,
but that's what I'm saying. Though,
it's like it feeds in. All right, so Recore, it gradually happens, right? You learn the basics of the game, right? And then once you get past your tutorial, shit just kind of, you got to figure it out.
So there's no difficulty. There's no difficulty.
I don't believe there's any difficulty. I don't believe it because if there was, I would have been cranked that bitch down. Because I think that's probably the last time I cried over a video game. All right, if you don't count the streams, because I think Recore was before I started doing those streams and shit like that. But that was the last one that got me enraged because the thing is, you'll come across enemies, right? Because you got to level up, you got to upgrade your robots. Now, the concept of Recore is dope. It does not get the credit. It doesn't get the credit because a lot of these frauds haven't played the damn game. They haven't played the game. They're not given a chance. That's why if somebody played today, they're like, oh shit, this kind of the concept was dope. Now, it did get harder because in order for you to progress, you have to find these crystal balls, right? And you can only get to a certain level stage if you had a certain amount. And some of these crystal balls was hard to fucking get. Like you either had to fight for them, like fight a boss for them, or they'll be in secret places. And the platforming is not easy. The platforming in the game was so sophisticated that it became difficult. And the further you got in the game, the harder the platforming is. And I think the platforming in the DLC is harder. I didn't complete the DLC because the platforming is much difficult. They got to the point where they had to add another robot, right, to your companions to make some of those things easier. That's why a lot of people didn't beat it until after the definitive edition came out, where they added the robot and all this other stuff and made it easier. But in that last boss was a bitch because it's you know how bosses have phases and shit like that. Yep. This boss had like phases, but he had platforming in between each phase. So you had to get past these crazy ass hurdles to fight him again just so he can kick your ass. Like, the game is a tough game. It doesn't get credit because a lot of these people didn't play it. A lot of these people didn't beat it. That's why when somebody says, "Oh, Recore is trash," I'm like, "Get the hell out of here! Don't comment on it because you know you didn't play it. You know you didn't play it." And people don't like us say so. Now that people want to talk about Recore because people that did play it like me are comparing it to Returnal. Like I see Returnal, and I'm like, man, this got some glimpse of Recore. Now maybe Recore was not as polished as Returnal. It doesn't look as good, but you can see, but nobody wants to admit it.
I'm gonna go with you. There are some similarities. Like you can clearly see the similarities. Like,
that's why I told you, bro. If you find some time, try Recore. Just give it a try. Don't you don't
Recore have to, 60 frames?
Nope. That's the problem. Like it needed FPS boost. It needed FPS boost. It needs FPS boost badly. But like, if that game got FPS, I might give it a try again. But like, I enjoyed that game. I actually, believe it or not, I played Recore on both. I think Recore was one of the first Play Anywhere titles that year. So I did Recore. I did 50% of it on Xbox One and the other 50% of it on PC. That's when because it came out shortly after I built my PC, so I was running at 60 frames per second. I think 1440p or whatever I was running it at, and I was having a good time with it.
You think they're gonna go back and give it the FPS boost? Probably not, right?
I'm not gonna say probably not because it doesn't require dev input, and Microsoft owns the IP, so they have actually no excuse. The only way they won't do it if it just doesn't work. Gotcha. But I think Xbox that was the first thing they should have done was the games that they actually have control of is done those games. They're exclusives. I mean, obviously not their late generation games, like anything that came out from I think 2017 onward kind of got like a natural Series X enhancement or a port, or 2018
You want the Sunset Overdrive.
I want Sunset Overdrive.
That would be nice.
Because the thing is, Sunset Overdrive already looks good with the auto HDR, but the problem is, that game is fit for 60 frames per second. Yes. And And the game is only 900p, but it's not an ugly 900p. So if they were able to just get those frames up there, I'll start a brand new game for it. Like, I mean, I don't even think I got any more achievements to earn in that game, honestly. Nice. But I'll start a brand new game with that. I think Quantum Break should be boosted. They need to find a way to do that. I think I'll play any of the Dead Rising games. Dead Rising 4, Dead Rising 3. Those are my favorite of the series. Rise Cinnamon is the pioneer responsible for God of War 2018. That's the running joke, right? Right. I think Rise Cinnamon would be a perfect candidate. Like I said, it's a 900p game that's not an ugly 900p game.
Oh yeah,
it's. And I'm like, bro, if they do that, like, dude, you'll be doing us a huge favor by just doing that. If you ain't gonna make a sequel, at least treat us to that, because it never got an Xbox One X enhancement, and that's a shame.
They didn't. That's right. You right about that.
Like I said, there's a couple games that they could do that I would like to see it, but it looks like what they're doing is if you factor in, like, so they introduced this feature in February, and February was Ubisoft games. It was like a handful of Ubisoft games. You had Far Cry, Watch Dogs 2, which is an ugly 900p, and then it was some select EA games in there too, and then March, to celebrate the Bethesda purchase, they did a ton of Bethesda games, and I think all of those was more so boosted to 60 frames per second. Now with EA, they got 13 EA games. I think all but one, everything was boosted to 120 frames per second. So a lot of people, if you don't got a proper display, this boost means nothing to you at this point. But
because I downloaded Battlefield 5 and tried it out. It's nice. The game looks fuzzy as hell though.
Yeah,
because it drops it down to 1080p.
Yeah, I think what happens on the game is that. So I did a video on this and I posted a Twitter post. So what happens is there's going to be games, right, where when they do these FPS boosts, they're going to toggle. It won't toggle by default, because if it doesn't toggle by default, that means it's going to drop your resolution. So some of these scenarios, the games is losing. You're literally selecting. All right, do I want to play this in the native resolution mode at this point or performance mode? Now with the EA games like Titanfall 2, Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1, these games have native Xbox One X enhancement, and now because they're on the Series X, they're even better. So you're getting a lock 4K 60 frames experience with these games if you want to play them at that. Now if you want to play them at 120 frames per second, yeah, you're going to get I don't know if they just dropping the resolution or if it's reverting to the Xbox One S version and boosting the frame rate. Because the FPS boost on those games, they're all 120 frames per second, which is cool. Now the games that I think more so is fine is, like, for example, Battlefield 4 was 720p. So it's like what it is. There was never a resolution mode for that game or anything like that. So right now you're getting some sort of upgrade. Not Bleeding Edge, Mirror's Edge was 900p, I think targeting 60 frames per second. With this, it's 900p, 120 frames per second. That's the game I'm currently playing now. I just couldn't put it down. Nice. So, and I figure I'd try that game because it has a beginning and end. Once I finish that game, I'm going to try to play through Judgment.
So do you think Xbox will introduce a resolution boost? And if so, how do you think they should implement it? Like, should they implement it as a resolution boost and keep it at 60, or a resolution boost and try to do the 120? Well,
you got to think about it. All this is honestly through emulating. That's all the console is doing, is emulating these games. Remember, the game doesn't know. So there's only so much. I don't think, even though I would like to see a resolution boost, I'm not sure. I know they have their own things, but that's going to be impacting like new games, like where they development side going back and up in the res of other games. I'm not sure if it's as easy as it is doing the frame rate to games, or because what the Xbox does through emulating their back, they're already doing auto HDR through it, and they have texture filtering where they improve the textures and stuff like that. So as far as resolution, I was like, all right, what would you do that for? You would only games that need resolution boost is games that came out prior to the Xbox One X.
Right, correct, right.
And at that point, are you going to put the resources in to do that? But do you think they're doing all these FPS boost games?
That's what I'm saying. Could it be a background fix? How like the FPS boost is?
Probably. I'm not sure if it's like, oh man, because there's a lot of things other than resolution. Because remember, we were already proven that you got to think there's texture quality, texture details, there's low resolution textures. If you have like a 4K resolution game, but the textures are still natively 720p or some shit like that, or 900p, it's not going to look that great. You know what I mean? True. And that's what we pretty much are seeing now. Because remember, the Xbox naturally upscales games. It's not that the resolution isn't the stuff that makes it look bad. It's the texture work. Like I said, like we talk about 3 900p games, right? That are available on the Xbox. It's Watch Dogs 2, Rise Center Rome, Sunset Overdrive. And they all look drastically, different from each other. Sure, they will look better with a resolution boost, but I don't think they would have to find a magic trick to clean up the textures.
Gotcha.
I think things would have been a lot better had they implemented dynamic resolution scaling from the get-go back when Xbox One and PS4 first came out. If they were dynamically had dynamic res to target 1080p, but a lot of games were fixed at 1080p or 900p and stuff like that. They weren't using dynamic resolution. I think the first game to use like a dynamic resolution to get to 1080p was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and I think Halo 5. But then Halo 5 eventually got a natural Xbox One X enhancement. And so right now, but that Call of Duty game, the one that came out after Ghost, because I think that one was fixed to like 900p, I believe, or 720p. After the one after Ghost, that was the first dynamic resolution. It was the last one to have the Xbox marketing, and Call of Duty got a lot of backlash, like, oh, it's lower resolution on Xbox. So what they did was to keep the resolution number up there. They did dynamic resolution scaling, so it was like a dynamic 1080p. So if you play Call of Duty Advanced Warfare on your Xbox Series S, you can make it a straight 1080p. Because it's dynamically scaling. But if they did that from the get-go to target 1080p, you would see a better, I think, a visual presentation on some of these games. Yeah,
absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah. Let's see. Check out the chat. I'm gonna say what's up to the chat.
What up?
Shout out to Dr. Dune, Brian Chan, Poles, Verge Brizzle, Andrew Baradon, Meek Nietzsche. I don't know. The Ultimate Slayer Manticore says, "Hey, Kid Smooth, do you think we would get arrogant and mess up the 10th generation?" Who? Oh, my bad. Hey, Kid Smooth, who do you think would get arrogant and mess up in the 10th generation Sony or Microsoft? That's next generation, right?
That is next generation.
It depends. Yes. It depends on who has market control. Because the thing is, it depends on how the generation goes. If one of these dudes
that's an easy question.
Dominates, right, and decide that all right, what our plan worked. Now, our plan worked. This is how we're gonna go into the next generation. It depends on how this generation goes and who dominates and how they dominate it. You know what I mean? Xbox thought during the Xbox One generation, they thought because the Kinect was such a it was sold 10 million out the gate, they thought it was a new phenomenon, and it was like, all right, now we got all these ways we can implement it. Everybody's on the internet, all the social media and stuff like that. We have the best console for this. We can push our console out as this ultra media box. They thought they could do it because 360 was a success. Kinect was a success, so they thought they had all the momentum, which they did. It's just that we all knew how that went. PlayStation, now it's not as bad or as how the Xbox One generation went, but they're kind of walking the lines of whatever we do is gold. People we can sell our games for this much. We can do this, we can do that, and it's not going to be a big deal because we're PlayStation based off, what I mean. That's but the thing is, people are more reluctant to speak out against PlayStation to that degree. So they're not facing the similar backlash. It depends on how everything goes, because right now there's a lot of things PlayStation hasn't done for their next generation console, and a lot of things that they're lacking, a lot of policies and stuff that they're lacking, that they're not really getting that much heat for, and that's because they're the beloved. They have the momentum, and everybody can't wait to get a PlayStation. But so it depends. Dre, you go. My bad.
It's going to continue that way. It's to answer his question is absolutely Sony. Sony is some arrogant SOBs. But I love Sony though, so it don't matter to me. But like I'm reading the chat, and I totally agree with what Six Slayer said. He said Microsoft learned their lesson.
Yeah.
From here on out, Microsoft will do everything in their power to try to be the media darling. Yeah. Period.
Absolutely.
And Sony is just like, because we pump out these great experiences, these great games, and we're just going to continue to do what we do to continue to stick to tradition. They absolutely are going to be the ones who are going to be arrogant in the 10th generation. Yeah, it's starting to start this generation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So yeah, it's absolutely Sony, absolutely. But that is one of the good things about Sony.
What?
Because Sony is at the top, and they know they're at the top, and they know they can't be messed with, and so they pump their chest out because they can, because they know they can. And so I mean, hey, I kind of like them for that, because to be the best, you got to beat the best, and Sony right now is the best. So.
All right, I mean, I can't argue that. I mean, the console comes, it sells out in seconds.
Yeah, Xbox is more consumer friendly. I will say that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah, man, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, Sony's already arrogant. I don't know if what's going to change with them, but we shall see.
I'll see. Only way Sony will get knocked back down to earth is if PS5 stop flying off shelves, man. That's the only way I can see it. So it ain't happening no time soon.
So a document leak. I don't know if it's. I still to this day don't know if it's like legit or not. The contract between PlayStation and Capcom in regards to, was it Resident Evil Village? Is that what it is, or was it just like their
Resident Evil Village?
Okay, so
which now some media sites are debunking this article or this contract, I guess you can call it.
Yeah. Due to the language in it sounded like PlayStation was requiring parity between the two, and that limiting these games from making an appearance on Game Pass for a certain amount of time. People obviously took offense to this, and usually with these contracts and marketing deals, there's usually like some money behind it. You pay for these marketing deals and whatnot, and so people look at it as, wow, Sony's spending money to keep games off Game Pass. And one way you can look at this is like, okay, I understand why they would do that, but then again, I don't. But then again, I also understand, they just lost one of their own games that they had no control over, appeared on Game Pass day and date, and to make their competition's platform look more valuable in the eyes of.
Hasn't this been done on both sides?
I believe. I don't think it depends on the type of parody, because there's so many different types of parody. I
remember that Assassin's Creed back when the PS4 and Xbox One. Remember the
Unity was. I think it was Unity. Yeah.
Remember that PS4 no parody fiasco and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Xbox trying to? Or supposedly
generally so
parody.
Yeah, I don't think so. Xbox obviously, they don't want to be getting smashed and whatnot. But the thing is about the parody comment, which is weird. It's like, I don't know if it's a performance thing or a way a game looks, or just content in the game. Now, Assassin's Creed Unity wasn't going to be 1080p on any of those damn platforms. That game was one ahead of its time. That's something that can use a native FPS boost, and that could use an actual remaster. It runs, all right. No, it didn't get an FPS boost. What it happens is if you have the disc version of Unity, you run it without the patch. It has uncapped frame rate, so you can run it at 60 on a Series X.
Okay.
But that's hoops. That's hoops. You have to run. Actually, do I still have that game? I think that game needs a proper, like, Ubisoft, take a break off. If you're not dropping an Assassin's Creed this year, make a remaster to Unity because it deserves it. Like, keep the same game up at the 60 and up the texture work. And you have, like, I feel like that game was just so, ahead of its time, and it was just plagued with, like, bugs. They were trying to do so much with that game.
It still has the best parkour in any Assassin's Creed game till this day.
Yeah. So that's one I'm definitely gonna call for, like, some sort of remaster. But yeah, the thing about this whole parody thing is, though, when you look at the games that shared marketing deals with PlayStation, I don't think there is parody. If obviously by default, PS4 Pro versions couldn't outdo the X version in terms of, like, visuals, right? It was just unless they just capped it, right? If it was doing, like, a dynamic resolution or something like that, the X's was gonna win. The thing about PlayStation and their deals, which are very egregious and aggressive, if you look at the deals like for Call of Duty, Destiny, what they're Control, is that they will have legit content, Marvel's Avengers, that just you can't access at all if you're on another device, or by the time it does come to your device, they're already putting out the sequel to the game, and at that point, it's not even worth it. I don't think PlayStation, their marketing has any form of parody. As a matter of fact, it's anti-parody with a lot of these PlayStation deals.
I got a question. What on both sides? What causes either or to want parody? Like, I'm trying to say, okay, so obviously Resident Evil 8 is a high level, high title game, of anticipated game. But what game warrants a parody clause? Like, how do they figure out what game warrants a parody clause?
I think that can be written on for like, any game. Like, if there's something, if your platform, like, does something, or you could do something on the platform, it don't even have to be technical. If you do something on a platform that makes the other platform, like, as more approachable or something like that, you want to protect yourself. So I think they just write it in here. So, like, for example, let's say, but then again, I don't know, man, because there's some technical issues all over the place. I mean,
that sounds like, how do they figure, like, okay?
No, all right, for example, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say, maybe let's talk about smart delivery, right? Let's talk about smart delivery. Maybe, you know how games just kind of support, like, how there's games that don't support smart delivery, right? That are multiplayer, but they can. If they ain't supporting smart delivery on PlayStation, like the free upgrade, it ain't supporting. It's not going to support smart delivery on Xbox.
I don't like that though, because that's just a feature Xbox has.
Yeah, but technically it's a money costing feature, because
that's PlayStation.
I still don't think there was intentions for PlayStation to have these smart delivery type, these free upgrade things. When Xbox went crazy with that on that damn marketing, it forced publishers to either offer it, or Sony to be like, hey, you can't offer them free on them and then not offer it free on ours. You know what I mean? So I think you can look at that as maybe an example. I don't know how much, like, performance parity. I'm pretty sure it exists at some point, but then again, I mean, it hasn't panned out yet. You know what I mean? Because there's some things that are out of people's control. If an engine works better with the stuff, PlayStation's hardware or Xbox hardware, there's nothing you can do about it. Then you have to start gimping this shit for one. If there's nothing you can do about it, especially if it's dynamic resolution scaling, you're leaving it to the hands of the console at that point. Yeah, unlock frame rates, you're leaving that to the hands of the console.
Yeah, I don't like the parody. I don't like this parody thing at all. Because, like you was going on with the smart delivery, that's something that Microsoft knew they wanted in their console, right? Yes. They literally built a damn system around it. Right. The thing about smart delivery is just that it actually always existed. We've been beta testing it since Play Anywhere.
That's all it is. It's all run on the same system. It's just that like they got it to the point where it's like, okay, because like when they introduced Play Anywhere, when I bought Recore, right, when I bought Quantum Break, I had a PC version ready to go. I mean, I just like, all right, and all my achievements and everything saved was like nothing happened. Like no matter if I started it on the Xbox or started on the PC, it was nothing changed. Like, oh, I'm picking up where I left off. And it's the same thing with their cloud. When I was playing Mirror's Edge. Well, I was trying to play Mirror's Edge, but I couldn't my controller. But it was picking me. It was picking me up where I left. I played it at home. Then I went to the barbershop. Yeah. It was going to pick me up where I left off at. So that's it's been around, but now it's all coming together, and it makes sense. Like, oh, and it's so easy for it to work on Xbox because it's been practiced and used for years, just not to this degree. And now it's here. It's like, okay.
And doesn't PlayStation have like the marketing deal with
Resident Evil?
On Resident Evil?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that has nothing to do with.
I don't know.
Running parity for something, but I don't know. Because people are going to buy Resident Evil, if they want to buy it, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, I don't know why Sony is so. I understand why they are kind of. I don't want to say they're fearing Game Pass, but they kind of.
You got to think about what happened. They just got screwed on their own game.
Game Pass can definitely sway a person, right? Mm-hmm. I think anyway. I think Game Pass can definitely sway a person from wanting to pay $7 to
Think about this. Think about this. So, right? Mm-hmm. Think about this just for a moment. Game Pass can, if enough big games come day and date on Game Pass, that's going to disrupt a lot of things. You got to think about what's the number one seller on all these consoles. I mean, I know PlayStation has all the exclusive, but what is number one on their on these sales charts, even on their own respective platforms? A multi-plat. So just imagine, right? I don't think it'll happen with Call of Duty because Activision, they're too rich for their own good. But imagine if Battlefield turns out to be day and date Game Pass. That's a big game. I don't know what else is major outside of Call of Duty that's coming out. But let's say this for 2021, right? Let's say I'll do you one better. Let's say 8 out of the 10 biggest games that's coming this year launches on Game Pass day and date. That at some point that's gonna hit different.
Yeah, but wouldn't that leave Sony to recoup the most amount of money though?
No, it doesn't actually. What it does is this is what it does, right? Because you're thinking, well, if everything's all on Game Pass, then everybody would just buy it on PlayStation. No, that means like if you're on PlayStation and you don't have access, you're gonna buy it on PlayStation regardless, right?
Yeah, but what if you don't have an Xbox though?
If you don't have that's the thing. If you don't have an Xbox, you don't have an Xbox. But if you have a PlayStation, you're gonna buy it there regardless. Right. If you have an Xbox, let's say if the Xbox if you have a Series S, and don't let this shit be day and date also on PC as well. But if you do have an Xbox, right, or if you're in a market for an Xbox, right, that does cause a problem because it's like, all right, if I got to play this on PlayStation, I got to play full price on it. If I got to play on Xbox, is a part of the subscription. Even if you bought an Xbox, right, for Game Pass, all right, so the Xbox and Game Pass is going to cost you $500, another $15 or so for the month. You're still at the point where it's like, well, I'm getting the 8 out of 10 biggest games that for the remainder of the year is going to be in Game Pass day and date.
Okay.
Because Game Pass wouldn't make more players on PlayStation.
Right. I get that.
It'll be PlayStation will win the battle of what version sold more, because
that's where I was going.
At that point, it doesn't really matter. Because people will buy. If you're on PlayStation, you got no choice but to buy it. Right. If you're on Xbox, you have a choice to buy it or play the part of Game Pass.
And see that I was going to say I want to see the statistics of Outriders.
Yep.
because I want to see the breakdown of Outriders and to see, because remember Outriders was still the number one selling game on Xbox.
Yeah. Well, so it was was it number one or number 3? I thought
it was number one. Either top 3. I know
it was top 3 for sure. It was top 3 for sure. It didn't hurt its sales.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see the breakdown, because you can kind of get a trajectory somewhat into the future on how things will scale out with if other big third party titles go into Game Pass.
Yeah.
So, if PlayStation is still selling the most, I don't think they should be that worried about third party going into Game Pass. I don't think they should be that worried if they're still the market leader when it comes to third party.
Yes, but why? My thing is, why would you pay? I don't understand why would one pay for a game not to go into that
and I
service?
I don't think that's true. If that's true, that's wild. If that is true,
because if you fear it that much, because at the end of the day, if you think about it, right? Thank you. What's stopping PlayStation gamers from buying the games at full price? What do you got to be afraid of if they're only playing on your platform? Right. What do you got to be afraid of? This is like, that means you're just stopping Xbox gamers from getting.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say that. Yeah, because now, okay, if they are stopping it from going to Game Pass, that's fucked up, because now they are stopping. Maybe people are Game Pass only gamers, and now they're stopping them for getting the game for whatever. Maybe they don't want to buy the game, whatever. But yeah, that's messed up if they are making it so the games can't go on to Game Pass. But I don't know. I can't see it. Like I said, especially if they look at the numbers and see that they still are. Market leader. So PlayStation by default is going to be the market leader. I don't think Xbox is beating them in unit sales. Xbox is going to find another way to beat them. And the report that just came out, Minecraft Dungeons, right? I think 40% of the people playing Minecraft Dungeons and Game Pass is playing on mobile via stream, and they're not using the controller. They're using touchpad. And it took them 7 weeks to make it feel like it's natively being played on the controller. Now I was playing Minecraft Dungeons in the barbershop because I got frustrated because I couldn't play Mirror's Edge because my controller would not. I think iOS needs to bring an update so I can, because I could not play with the Series S controller, and I got everything paired and whatnot. I got the little clip. Where's my clip at? It's somewhere in the bag. I got the clip, and my blue controller is gonna be my xCloud controller, because I got more than enough controllers. So, but yeah, they're yeah. I mean, I think Xbox will find another way to to beat PlayStation or be market leader, because. How do they do that? How do they become market leader?
Game Pass. I know it sounds like cliche, but when you consider all the factors, right? It won't hit me and you because we grew up in the console era, right? But our kids are growing up. My kids play games on the phone. They have Xboxes, but I think the first game they played was on the phone. So if you
But do you see Game Pass stopping people from buying PlayStations?
No. That's no. All right, no. I'm talking about. It's game consumption. The Game Pass is not going to stop what PlayStation's cap is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
PlayStation's never going to sell 300, 200, 300, 500 million consoles. They're not. That's never going to happen, right?
Right. But what I'm saying is, though, typically, whoever sells the more hardware typically sells the more software. So so that's what I'm saying. How would
but didn't PS5
leader?
In the end, I'm sorry. Didn't PS5 outsell 360?
The
PS3, yeah.
Right.
At the end. But who was the software king?
Right, it was Xbox, right?
So
but that's because the Xbox already had that build up to.
But the thing is, you're looking
I'm already gonna buy on Xbox.
You're looking at it like, all right, PS5 is gonna sell the most consoles, so they're gonna sell the most games. But I'm looking at it as Xbox have Game Pass, they're gonna have more users in general. because they're not relying on solely the Xbox to play their games. They're relying on people on PC, people on cheap ass $150 Chromebooks, people on cheap ass Android phones, iOS. Like, if you imagine this, right? Xbox partners up with fucking Verizon or T-Mobile, and Game Pass is like a part of, like, oh, you get a phone, like they do this crazy partnership, and they make sure that Game Pass, right, is pre-installed on the phone that you get. You know what I mean? And they advertise it. They just imagine they do a deal with a mobile company, whether it be T-Mobile, whether it be Verizon, and you get your phone, you get Game Pass for, when you sign up for a phone, you get like a certain amount of months. I remember I got Verizon, I got like Disney Plus for like 6 months or something like that, and they give you like 6 months of Game Pass. You buy a phone and they bundle in a fucking controller and a clip, with you, and get it. Just imagine how that shit catches on, right? Fucking when they start putting this shit on TVs, right?
Oh,
shit gonna come. Like, think about it. Think about the market cap for Game Pass is bigger than the market cap for a PlayStation console.
So you're looking at user activity, more so than
it's not even user activity. It's the amount of users one can reach, right? For example, Returnal. What's the max amount of units Returnal can sell to when it releases? What's the max amount it can sell?
Like 5 to 6 million.
5 to 6 million, right? That's the will it sell 5 to 6 million?
Not, but
probably not. So, but that's the thing. There's already a cap there. So we can't say that on Xbox. We can't say, all right, we can't say this about Xbox. Where what's the next big game that's coming out? Like, for example, Halo. Can we say what's the market cap on Halo Infinite? What is the cap? What is the max user can play it?
It's a lot because it's going on PC, it's going on Xbox, it's going on. But how do you? I'm
not saying it's going to do that. I'm not going to say it's going to do it, but it's percent. It's like, well, think about it. We have the potential to reach this many people because right now there's no barriers to stop us. There's a barrier on Returnal. If Horizon's Forbidden West launches this year, there is a barrier there. There's a cap. They can only sell so much.
Are they looking at it like that? Because Game Pass is existing right now, so that potential, so that
and they got on the most user base. They just got on iOS,
right? But so what I'm saying is that highest potential is going on right now, right? But if you look at it in total, like if you look at it how we would traditionally look at it, it looks like PlayStation still is market leader, right? So how do you? That's what I'm saying. How do you measure that when it's literally happening right now and they're still market leader?
All right, if we're gonna condense everything to Xbox Series versus PS5, of course, yes, PlayStation's market leader.
I'm talking about the whole.
In the whole picture, they're not. They right now. All right, so you're right now in the whole grand scheme, but you're still thinking about it in a sense of traditional console. Who's gonna sell our game the most? Right. That's how you're looking at it.
How do you measure Xbox market share then?
You don't. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it all. You can't. The thing is the sky's the limit because there's no longer this cap. There's no longer a cap.
Okay.
Once everything is sort of native to the point, because right now iOS is still in beta. Once that shit rolls into like, all right, this is just common availability. It's lights out. Because now it's not like, oh my god, like they can brag and be like, all right, we sold the most on PlayStation, but how far is that going to get you? Right now, the leading software sale should be, I think, the PS4 maybe, and then for all multi-plats, if we're going straight to next gen only games, PS5 and Xbox, it just generally that's just going to be what it is. But when they start pulling down numbers, download numbers, overall numbers, especially if these games are in Game Pass, and Game Pass number is only going to increase, and what they're targeting, 30 million by the end of this year, which I think they're going to exceed that easily. If the games that I'm hearing is going in Game Pass day and date, and the games that we're hearing that's coming this year, they'll easily surpass 30 million before the year is up. Easily.
Absolutely. It's just, man. So how does Xbox come out and brag to the masses that we are now market leader?
They won't. That will do its own job. They won't do like, oh, we're the market leader. What's going to happen is you're going to see that in terms of how the publishers react. Who's putting their games in Game Pass? What's the next move? What's the next service to try to follow this Game Pass model? You know what I mean? PlayStation Plus isn't following the Game Pass model. Neither is really PS Now. Technically, they're not really. They're flirting with it, but they're not really. It's not really off to the masses like that. You know what I mean? Right now, Xbox thought they would be competing with Stadia, and if you look at Xbox moves and how they got there, you will see. Oh yeah, they are competing with Stadia, but the problem is Stadia. They fell out the gate.
Yeah, they out. They went belly up.
Yeah, their setup wasn't. The thing is, because I keep forgetting, and remember, I need to hurry up and cancel my subscription before I have to pay for it. Stadia, remember I forget that Stadia was meant to intend to replace consoles. That's what they wanted to do, because you still had to buy those damn games, $60 a pop. They want you to buy those games, which is weird. Weird, and that's the thing. And I was like, I forget with Xbox. Stadia should have been just a straight monthly subscription. That's what it should have been like for those games, and then it would make sense, right?
Right.
So you would see the market leader transition. You would see how the publishers move. Who's putting their games in Game Pass day one? How many publishers they're gonna add? And then you got to see when Xbox first party studios are flooding. You got to see how that, and we're gonna learn that in time. But just watch the market, watch what publishers do, and then who tries to follow suit. I think what Xbox is doing, like I said, it's good consumer-wise. It's weird because I know people have their moments like, oh, I want to own my games and all this other stuff. But people forget that Game Pass it's not exclusively subscription. There's not a single game in Game Pass that you can't buy. There's hundreds of movies in Netflix that I can't buy, that I can't own. So
I think they got the DVD thing, right? You can buy
on Netflix of their movie. They got physical copies of the movies that they selling.
I believe so. I thought you can buy the DVDs from Netflix
for Netflix originals. Netflix original movies. They got physical. I'm talking about their content because remember their Netflix is to the point where majority of the content in Netflix is Netflix originals that you can't own. Every game in Game Pass can be purchased, physical, digital, whatever. It can be purchased. Right. You can't.
But that's why I was going with because everything in Xbox Game Pass isn't Xbox owned. So that's why I was like, well, you can't do that on Netflix. But I get what you're saying.
So you got to see. And I think what the things that's going to happen with Game Pass, it's going to lead to an industry change. You know what I mean? Think about gaming is the only thing that isn't subscription based. Music subscription based, movies subscription based. Gaming is the only thing that's not subscription based.
You are because you are spot on with that, because I'm always thinking about that, because how we consume media is all streaming, or all subscription based, and I'm just like Xbox. Eventually, PlayStation will get there. That's what I think.
They had the head start. They started first. But they did everything so early. PS Now, remember, it was on. Was it on mobile? I know it was on TVs and
it was on TVs.
PCs. It was on their TV, their PlayStation TV thing that they had. So they were pre-installed on TVs, on Sony TVs, and I think select Samsung TVs. So they were prepared. It's just that the tech wasn't there yet. Right. It wasn't there yet, and their pricing, like Stadia, it was fucked up. They didn't have one fixed monthly pricing. It was like $20 here, $30 here, and then you could buy games to stream. Right. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So and then they had
PlayStation Now was like $100.
It was weird. It was very weird. Their pricing structure was sort of all over the place. So that's why they had to scale that back. But they had the head start. They had the right idea. They had,
but so they will get there. I think PlayStation will definitely get there because that's just how the world is moving. Everything is subscription based, and so eventually PlayStation will get caught up. With that, I think it's going to be sooner rather than later.
Speaking of PlayStation, what do you think about the Movie Pass? I think it's exclusive to Poland.
I don't think
people thought it was going to be the answer to Game Pass, man. But no. What do you like about the idea, like being a member of PlayStation Plus, and you're getting like select movies each month or something like that? What are your thoughts?
Me personally, I mean, I don't care about it. I mostly buy physical 4K movies, unless it's something like on Disney Plus or an original from like Netflix or Amazon that I can't get on. I can't get yet on physical. But I mean, that's not what we were looking for. And to believe it or not, people were looking for that Game Pass. When they saw that, they was like, "What the hell is this?" No, we were looking for the Game Pass model, the game in Game Pass model. But I mean, it's there. Utilize it if you want to. If not, oh well. I mean, I truly don't feel no kind of way about it though.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I thought it was funny. I know they're testing it in Poland, but they'll find a way. They need. I don't think PlayStation needs to do anything right now. But then again, the hardest thing for business, right? For business people and companies is like when to adapt, when to change, when to make the move. Because it's when you're successful, it's easy to be comfortable in that success, and then when shit change, you don't know what hit you. You know what I mean? You just don't know when it's going to hit you, and that's the thing where PlayStation's at. They're like, well, we're selling consoles immediately. Our games sell, especially the things that we produce and stuff like that. We're still, popular. So there's no immediate threat. But when you just look at things on where they're headed, it's like, okay, where does PlayStation fall into place of this?
You know what? They dipped their toe in the water with when they released those games in PlayStation Plus, those new games into PlayStation Plus, and it got a pretty good reception from PlayStation fans. So I think PlayStation Plus, will be that Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, they gotta find a way to merge PS Plus and PS Now, because PS Plus. I think PS Plus is better than PS Now. Yeah. And the thing about PS Plus is extremely cheap because you pay for it once a year.
Right. And I just think everything would just be PlayStation Plus. There's going to be no PlayStation Now or whatever, and everything will just be PlayStation Plus, and that will be the subscription Game Pass model. That's what I think. Anyway. Yeah. That's what makes sense. If you ask me, that's what makes the most sense.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. Now the Xbox is smart. Remember the whole? Of course, they're smart. So you know how the only way they can get Game Pass or XCloud on Apple, because remember they want Apple they want one game at a time. They want no, because they want to be able to make money off of it. So the thing is, they don't want an additional service.
I remember you said something with the browser, right?
So what Xbox did, the first thing you do when you go to the Xbox.com/play, the first thing you do, and you open a game, what they do is they ask you to save the thing to your home. They show you exactly how to do it. You hit that little arrow button, and then what it does is it pretty much puts the app there. Nice. But it's technically, the thing is, it's technically a web browser. It's not an app. But the way that it appears, I'm gonna show it to you right now. You see that? See that it says game.
Yes.
Cloud gaming. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Cloud gaming. Yeah. And when you open it,
it just takes you to a web browser. Yeah.
And it's gonna probably ask me to log in. Yeah.
That's smart. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That way, yeah. Yeah. That way they don't got to deal with the Apple bullshit. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice way around it. But
yeah, that's smart.
What's the I think we approaching I think an hour already. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing, so, but yeah, man.
I know there was something else that Because I know Jim Ryan had came out and said
that, he made I'm sorry, he made the PlayStation fanboys twerk. He said
there you go.
They're going to give them he said it with a straight, we intend to have exclusive more than ever before. And they was like,
hey, but that's what the fan base wants, man. You read on Twitter, that's what they want. That's what they. But he said more than ever before.
More than ever before. That's all you had to say. And all is forgiven. All is forgiven.
Right.
All is forgiven.
They love Jim Ryan now. Yeah, he's on their good graces now. So yep.
I have no issue with Jim Ryan. I really and I don't have any issue with
either.
PlayStation. I just feel like I think
because Jim Ryan is a businessman. He's not that Phil Spencer where he's gonna communicate with the with the fan base. And, like that's what Herman Host
is for. Yeah. But his big ass forehead, I haven't heard from him either.
I haven't heard from him either. But Jim Ryan, he's the mind. He's the biz. He's how can we make the most money and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm cool. I like Jim Ryan. He's okay. I do like Sean Layden more because Sean Layden was that gamer's personality. So yeah, but Jim Ryan is cool.
So PlayStation, tends to have more exclusive. Also, PlayStation signed, they gobbled up ex-Bungie's devs to do a multiplayer exclusive game. They're going to be supporting them.
Yep.
I mean, they're doing a lot of investing. They're doing Jade Raymond's, game, and
okay, I like it. I do like it, right? It's just with with this whole acquisition fiasco, right? You just want them to come out and say, "Hey, we purchased this, that, and the third." And like these partnerships are cool, but you just want them to be like, "Yo, we got this, and this to boost our exquisite first party lineup." And that way, they can go toe to toe. The fan base can, go blow to blow or whatnot.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, these partnerships are cool though.
Yeah. Question for you though. We're speaking of partnerships, right? So we know PlayStation, they're doing their thing. They got Jade Raymond. They run it. They're supporting this new multiplayer studio from ex Bungie devs. But a lot of these ex Bungie devs been having bad luck because I remember the ones that made that game Deintegration or something like that. I mean, they made this game that kind of came out of the blue and it went belly up.
I've never heard of it.
Remember that conversation we had last week about Kojima and what I think Xbox could potentially do with him, and it might be bigger than what we think. All right, so there's a new rumor, right, for Konami and their IPs, their licensing. I don't know if you read it. Yeah, did you read that?
Metal Gear. So I did read that supposedly PlayStation was supposed to be getting a Metal Gear remake.
Yeah,
that's what I heard. That's what I seen.
Bruh, this is how I look at it, right? One, I don't think PlayStation has anything to do with this Metal Gear thing. I do think they probably is going to get a licensed IP out of it, but I do think I'm more so it's Xbox, snagging up. I don't know if it's whether through acquisition or through licensing deal, but I think they're rolling with Metal Gear, and I think
as far as what capacity
they're gonna be putting out the next Metal Gear. Xbox,
like exclusive.
Yeah, if they're gonna be publishers, yeah, they're gonna be. It's gonna be one of those deals, and I think Xbox are in position to do that, get the licensing rights, and have Kojima do it if he wants to, or like maybe they acquire the IP and then.
Isn't Kojima and Konami? They're not on.
That doesn't matter. Right? That doesn't matter. It's not. Konami doesn't have to negotiate with Kojima. Konami negotiates with Xbox. Xbox negotiates with Kojima to do the game. So there's a lot of play. I think one of my theories for Xbox and Kojima is correct. Whether it be they're going to get Konami, like 2 Konami IPs, and then they partner up with Kojima for him to do it, Or the other thing I told you about last week, where I think, you know, Kojima joins Xbox to a certain degree, where he's the, you know, the go-to. He gets a promotion, his go-to, and then Xbox also just absorbed Kojima Productions in the process of that. I don't know. I think something happens where I look like a genius. I think we're gonna learn in the next, you know, 6 weeks or so. But
yeah, I guess we just gotta wait and see. I haven't heard, like, I haven't seen the Xbox and getting them. I don't know anything about that rumor.
Nah, I think they've been in. I feel like they've been. Konami, right, has a problem, right? The thing is about Konami, they found, you know, success in the other stuff like mobile and Panko, whatever you call this shit. They in-house, they can't produce any of they got all these IPs that they can't make because they suck.
That's what I'm saying. Konami isn't what they want.
I'm sorry. They got a lot of IPs. The only thing they got to them is the name. Yeah. A name and IPs. Right. Their studios. I mean, the last Metal Gear game they made was the Metal Gear Survive. Awful.
Trash.
Since they parted with Kojima, there's nothing really there. So their other solution, they got two options. You make a ton of money by selling those console-orientated IPs to a Microsoft, a Sony, and Nintendo, and let them do that, and then maybe you collect like some royalty fees off of it. Just negotiate some sort of deal, get a little bit of just to keep money coming in off of them, or you license them exclusively. You know, we're not going to make them. We'll license this to PlayStation. We'll license this to Xbox. That's their two options. They're going to be at E3, so I'm curious to see what happens. If it's them producing games, I don't want to hear about it.
What do they have though besides Metal Gear?
Metal Gear, Silent Hill, Castlevania.
Okay.
And isn't it Pac-Man theirs or that's I don't know, but
I have no clue.
But
okay,
yeah, right.
Those some big franchises, definitely.
Yeah.
So okay,
go ahead.
So you think they're going to get at least? So do you think they're going to acquire Konami or just get, or at least get one of those? Franchises?
I don't think they acquire Konami because I don't think it makes sense to acquire Konami. Okay. There's nothing to acquire. I think if there is,
I mean, if you acquire them, you get
yeah. But the thing is, you can acquire the IPs without acquiring Konami. So I think one or two things happen. I think they acquire one or two of the IPs. They either acquire them or they get exclusive licensing for at least one of them. I think one of those two happens. In terms of acquisitions, I think I know Square Enix has been rumored. I think I have to go by the last couple acquisitions that Microsoft did. All the acquisitions they made has been good existing relationships. The only Japan publisher they have a strong working relationship with and maintain that with is Sega. Sega and Bandai Namco, and I don't think Bandai is not for sale. They'll continue to get games that Bandai does. That's like the only major Japanese publisher that is consistently putting games on Xbox. Where they're not going to keep going and putting shit exclusive to PlayStation or Nintendo. They will put their games on schedule in a timely manner on the Xbox. They've been doing it for ever since that 2016, 2017. They've been consistent with their releases.
Question.
Yeah.
What would make a Japanese developer go with Xbox who doesn't have, let's call it what it is, they don't have any kind of presence in the Asian, excuse my, I don't want to,
in the Japanese market, in the Asian market, yeah. Money, right. So, money.
I mean, Microsoft always had money.
Yeah, but here, it's not about like. It's so not about I don't want to go to Microsoft because they're not popular here. The problem is Microsoft. You're not going to Xbox because Xbox is not popular. Microsoft is coming to you because you're popular there. So what Xbox it's going to be hard to make a studio from the ground up in Japan. Right. So what you got to Xbox's only move is to acquire a major publisher that's already there. And then just naturally absorb that and get their stuff flowing there. So I think I only see one publisher that they would buy, in that case. I feel like Square Enix would be a better buy because of the IP. But I'm not sure that's gonna happen. I think Sega happens. I think Sega and Kojima happens. I think they get a 2-for-1.
Yeah, Sega is big in here, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm saying, like, how does going with Xbox help?
It's not about going with. Remember, if they acquire them, you're not. If you're being acquired, being bought out, it doesn't matter at that point. Like, go fishing. Like, it's not about. You gotta think about it. You're thinking about it as like, you know, a basketball player going to a different team to win a championship or some shit like that. Nah, they're coming there because they need Sega. They need Sega. They need Square Enix. They need one of them to have a presence in Japan. So. That's really and the thing is, if they acquire one of them, nobody has to get fired, nobody has to get laid off. They can keep all their people, their marketing, their head of marketing. It's just that the product they're backing is going to be mobile and Xbox, PC.
Okay, so mobile I get, but what if this doesn't help? Well, I guess that doesn't matter.
It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, Xbox doesn't care about the console, and so why should? Okay, well, yeah. I got you. I got you. Because what I was going to say is, how does this help the Xbox brand in Japan? If you know, I don't think they will still have a presence even if they did get a licensed game. But
no, it's not like I said, it got to be more. You get your license. You got to hit them a 3-pronged way. You get what you can get from Konami. You put Kojima on board, get him because he has clout. You buy Sega and all that IP, and there you go. Remember, Sega's already been on board with Xbox. They're putting all the games, like the last domino to fall from Sega is fucking Atlas. They're stubborn, but the next game to come is Persona, and that can happen any week now. We should get an announcement soon. I don't know if it's Persona 4 Golden, Persona 5 Strikers, or Persona 5 Royal. It's one of those games that will be going into Game Pass. And I think from that announcement, that's a definite. Okay. After that announcement, they're gonna do what like Sega did with their Yakuzas. They announced like, oh yeah, we're gonna bring all of them, and then slowly over time they all come. I think the first one that comes to Xbox Game Pass is the one that went to PC, which is Persona 4 Golden. It already has Xbox controller layout, right? You're playing on PC. That's the easiest one probably to port at this point. And then the next go round is Persona 5 Royale. I think Persona 5 Strikers would be a better fit. If you gave me the choice, I had to pick a Persona game to put on Xbox, I'm going to pick Strikers. Everything else can kick rocks.
Well, yeah, because
that's the only one I like. I mean, so it could go Game Pass. I mean, it would be cool to see, but personally, if I'm going to play any of them, it'll be Strikers. Actually, there is a Persona game on Xbox right now. It's Persona. It's the fighting game. I think it's Persona 4 Fighters, Ultima, something Arena, Persona 4 Arena, some shit like that. That is, it's a backwards compatible. It's Xbox 360. That's available, but I think that's the last Persona game that came to Xbox. But yeah, I marked this in the month of May, maybe on my birthday, May 6th, just in case anybody's interested. There will be a Persona game on Xbox.
All right. Well, we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah. But yeah, man. But I mean, I know we held on strong long. Make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Before I do gotta say this. I got a couple of things that I want to like. So remember, I told you about my monitor story, right? That was last week, or that in the Xbox party chat.
Yeah, we was party chat. Yes, yeah, that was party.
So I got a new monitor for the Xbox Series X and S. I bought it from J-Dub. Shout out to J-Dub. It's a decent monitor. It's super expensive. It's super capable, but it's just not properly capable. It doesn't do 120 frames over HDMI without any trickery. There's some trickery you got to do it. I'm not really happy with it, but then again, it's not that bad. I just can't wait. I don't know if I should. If anybody's interested, I guess I'll sell it to you. It's the Asus ROG Swift, the ROG Swift. It's good, I guess, for like if you're playing on PC. I got that. I don't know if I'll hold on to it until a 2.1 monitor comes out, and then you know play back exclusively to monitors. Other than that, I do have I'm going to be selling my Xbox Series S If anybody's interested, I have an Xbox Series S for sale. My final Series X coming in on Monday or Tuesday. My final Series X. I tried to get a PlayStation. I'll try again. If not, I can wait till June. But I'm selling the Xbox Series S, and anybody interested in hit me in 3 Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You can see these aren't open at all. I don't do physicals. And an Xbox Series controller, if you want, hit me up. I'll ship them to you. You can have them all at fucking, I don't know. At this point, I'm just ready. Give it to me. I don't know, $50 a pop, $120 for all 3 of them, or I'll bundle that. I would bundle it with the Series S, but the Series S doesn't play disc, so it makes no sense to do that. That would be criminally wrong to do that. But that's something Kmart would do. Fucking charge an additional $500 for the Series S and bundle physical games with it. Road Runner says we need a smooth challenge in these streets. The streets is dry, man. Man. I haven't done
if he had a PlayStation 5, he y'all should.
Why did nobody never do these challenges on Xbox? I mean, I did Sekiro on Xbox. That was pretty good. I mean,
Xbox got no games.
Shout out to Roadrunner, but shout out to you guys for joining the show. Hope you guys enjoyed. If this is your first time catching us live, I hope you enjoyed it. We go live every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So hit that like button, that notification button. And we will see you guys next week. We appreciate all you guys joining us.
I do got a little bit of announcements real quick.
Go ahead, please.
Remember, I was supposed to be doing a Halo, the Halo stream, right? Halo 1 through 5. And I can start it, right? I can start it, but streaming from my couch onto Twitch kind of sucks. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to probably buy 2 monitors and then stream on the monitor. I mean, because I can stream from off my TV, but it's just looking back and forth from my laptop to the TV. That's kind of a pain.
Yeah, that's how I have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I wanted to stream tomorrow, but I don't think that's going to happen. But and also, I'm trying to get together. I don't know if most of you saw on Twitter, but I'm trying to get together this big Black community group discussion on Black representation in the gaming community. And I think I found a way through Zoom, and Zoom can stream on YouTube. I think that is possible. But I just need some yes or no's from the people who I tagged, and we can definitely have this discussion, because I definitely want to have this discussion, because if you guys haven't seen Hip Hop Gamers, I don't know if it's his latest video or maybe the one before his latest video, but he did a great video on Black representation in the industry. And one of the things that stuck out with me is that he said we, like, at the Black community, is the #1 consumer, but not the #1 when it comes to representation and showing off these in the gaming community, showing at the IGNs and whatnot. So
yeah, he made good points.
Yeah. So I definitely want to have this discussion, because this is a much needed discussion. And I seen Hard 8 in the channel, in the chat.
Oh, he's in the chat.
Yeah. So if you're still there, man, I definitely want to get you on. So
what you need to do is, everybody that you tag, start a direct message on Twitter with all of them in there, like a group chat, and just send a reminder and put a date out there. The Zoom thing, I think the best go about is you do through Zoom, and then have OBS be the responsible for streaming it and capture the Zoom call through there. But so I'm down. Yeah. We can easily get it down, but I think that the most organized way to do it, because people get lost in, with all the stuff going on, of going back to a post. So a DM, it's probably going to be more recent.
Okay.
In everybody's inbox. So just give you a heads up.
Good idea. I definitely would do that. So yeah, that's what I got, because I definitely want to do that, man. I think this will be a dope discussion, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Get all those personalities in a
that's what I'm saying.
On the call.
Yeah, I want everybody in there. Everybody, like, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah. Shout out to Verge Brizzle. He said, "This is becoming my favorite podcast." I'm happy to hear that. Right. You know, I mean, that's good. Happily, you got something that you enjoy. Verge Brizzle also said, "Smooth, you found a gem in Dre. 8 is at undercover." Why?
Undercover what? No, Hard 8 is, man. He is entertainment to the max, man. Like, the Hard 8 is one funny dude, man. He is hilarious, dog. He's a good dude, man. Good dude.
All right, though, but we appreciate you guys coming through. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We will see you guys next week. All right. Peace. Undercover fanboy. I got you, bro. I got you.